I want to turn myself into Elphaba Thropp from the Wicked movie to watch the Oscars. I decided this kind of on a whim. I only have a few weeks. I don't even really have a watch party to go to. I may just do this alone on my couch. There were a few looks I debated doing. This one during I'm Not That Girl was cute. I love the skirt. I really wanted to do this one, but I thought the plaid pattern was too specific for me to find. I'd have to like seek that out. But I'm doing another one I love. This all black outfit she wears in The Wizard and I bought these glasses and this cheap wig, which will hopefully get the job done. There's two pieces to this, a micro pleated top and then this button-up dress. I went to my trusty fabric store, but I couldn't find exactly what I wanted. The closest to the top was this sheer black fabric with a somewhat pleated texture. And for the dress, I got this fuzzy fabric. I have no idea what it is. Maybe a wax canvas, but it frays as all hell. I am still vacuuming. So for the dress, I drafted a front piece kind of freehand on my body. It made for two pieces that looked a little more like this with a flare under the waist. I cut that out on the fabric and then sewed and sewed and sewed. I used the front to draft the back in this general shape. There's probably better ways to do this, but I just wing everything. I checked to see how the back looks and it comes in at the sides here, so I marked that. I cut out both pieces and then I sewed. I cut out the same pieces for the lining and then I sewed them right sides together for a cleaner finish and top stitched. For the shirt pattern, I just traced around another shirt I had. There's a cut where the buttons go, so I marked that, but I really didn't know how to do this shirt. Originally, I bunched the fabric all up and I cut around it because I was gonna individually hand pleat it and just fit it to the pattern. That didn't look great because I do like the original texture of the fabric. I just wanted it a lot more pleated. I ended up not adding many pleats, just cutting on the fabric as is, but diagonally like hers. I did the same for the back, then sewed those two together. Also for the turtleneck part, it's actually a little hard to explain everything I did, but I cut out a piece about 20 inches long and 8 inches wide folded, and then I just pleated it until it would fit around my neck. I just hand sewed in place when necessary. I also added a zipper in the back so I could get in and out of this. It doesn't stretch that well. I got these buttons. I had to paint them black to match them, but I hand sewed them on. Her dress also has a million buttons, or specifically 23. Mine are maybe a little too big, but don't look at that. I hand sewed them all on, and then I had to sew 23 of those buttonholes to make it functional. I could have used snaps, but I guess I did it the hard way. For the hem of the dress, I just did a zigzag stitch at the end. The sleeves are the fun part, but also might have been my undoing if I wasn't cautious. I cut out a big sleeve and then used a loose stitch to gather the top part. But basically for its poofy shape, I just kept making casing for elastic and pushing it through with a safety pin. If anyone out there wants to follow exactly what I did, here's the measurements I used and pattern I did for the sleeves. I repeated this exactly for the other side and added a narrow zigzag stitch at the bottom, which gave it this cute little lettuce hem. The sleeves are definitely my favorite part. I feel like a little mushroom, and I don't even like mushroom like that. The aforementioned wig I think looks alright if you squint. I didn't have lace glue, so I just used bobby pins and prayed for a lack of strong winds. I bought some makeup for this look, the majority from the clearance section at Ross, but I applied it all in the car, headed to watch the Oscars with my friends, so I know I probably looked a little busted. I think if you're green, it gets the point across. We were a little late for the actual Oscars, so I didn't see Cynthia and Ariana's performance live, but we made it just as Paul Tazwell won Best Costume Design for Wicked, which was fitting, and I was really excited about that. And then later when they won for production design.
Wicked! I mean, congratulations!
I didn't really expect it to win the bigger categories or anything. I was just there for a good time. I like Denora. I like The Substance. I like movies. They're fun. I kind of rushed the whole process of getting into Elphaba, so I took it out for another spin a few days later. If I wore this out to, say, the Wicked Part 2 premiere, I would definitely get some green gloves and probably fake nails. I just didn't want to get everything green. I went to Vaughn's to see if they had any Wickedy snacks. I couldn't find much, but these rather mid cookies. So I got a Rice Krispie treat, not relevant to Wicked. I just like Rice Krispie treats. I also made a friend. He couldn't speak, which was weird, but I feel like he got so close to me because he could sense I was an animal advocate. When I imagined the wizard degreenifying me, I didn't really expect it to include 3 rounds of oil cleanser, but it works pretty well. My fingernails still had a little verdigris. And then that was the end of Elphaba. I mourned her. Thank you for watching. I'm kind of late on the Wicked train, but I really wanted to make this outfit. I'm gonna try to go more all out for Wicked for good. I'm gonna get better makeup, maybe a better wig. Maybe we create another outfit from Wicked. There's a lot I wanted to do. Well, anyway. My laptop is overheating.